Good evening, everyone. I hope my audio and the screen as well as the video is clear and you are able to hear me. We'll do a quick review of the accounting paper that was held today for CA Inter students. If you have done the paper well or if you have no confusions about the paper, I would suggest you to stop watching this live and focus on your next paper. If you have some kind of confusion which you want to clear, otherwise you may not get sleep or you are disturbed or you want to get some things clarified, you can continue to watch. We'll keep it short, will not take much of your time. Focus should be to get over accounting paper and focus on the next examination, prepare well for the next paper, right? Now, if you ask me, and I have interacted with few students, the paper on an overall basis, I would say it's an average paper, not very tough, not very easy. If you had done basics well, if you had done conceptual, concepts well, had practice enough, then I think this was a pretty doable paper. Some confusions here and there could be there in students' mind, and we'll address them as well. Right. So first one was on borrowing cost. Now here, first loan of 60 lakhs is given at rate of 8%. It was fully utilized for new building. So this will be capitalized, it's straightforward. Second, loan of 20 lakhs from Satya Limited. Out of this, 6 lakhs was utilized for working capital purpose. Now, they have told that two loans were obtained to fund the construction on 1st of April. Construction began on 1st of January. Right. Now, from date of borrowing, that is 1st of April, first loan you will fully capitalize, and a second loan, when it comes to, out of this 6 lakhs, you will not capitalize interest portion pertaining to that. And they have also said that out of the loan from the first one, surplus funds were temporarily invested. This we will reduce. So out of that total interest that you pay, you will capitalize a portion and you will expense a portion. So straightforward one, nothing complicated there. Then another one on foreign currency transactions. An Indian company has the following foreign currency transactions: imported goods of 30 lakhs 96,000. They have given in rupee. Using the appropriate conversion rate, we have to convert this into dollar. Imported plant and machinery from Lucy Limited, a German-based company, for euro 18,500. This is euro. Amount was paid on the date of import itself. So we already paid the amount. Nothing is outstanding. Exported goods on credit to Cream Limited amounting to so and so. Okay. Now, all the above transactions were recorded at the prevailing exchange rate. Ignore tax and duty. Fine. These days, Institute has become more clear in mentioning what is to be included, what is to be excluded. Payment due from Cream and due to Try is outstanding. So now, this is outstanding. So here we will have a restatement. This is paid and this is outstanding. Rate of exchanges 1st of July, October, December, this all is given euro to rupee. You are required to show the value at which the above items will appear in the balance sheet. Now, please note here directly you will convert and you will continue to provide that. So there is no question of depreciation here, right? And for the remaining two, you will do the restatement and show the amount and calculate the gain or loss. Slightly lengthy, but if you do, you will score 5 out of 5 on this. Then find the value of closing stock as per AS2. Generally, it is tested frequently as well. Retailer dealing in toys. Sorry. During their purchase items worth 147, sale of so and so, opening average percentage of gross margin is 10% on cost, and stock of toys at cost was 20,000. Now here they have, we have to prepare or we have to calculate the gross profit, and based on that we have to see what is the value of inventory. Okay, 10% on cost. So purchase 147 plus opening stock, on that you will get 10% of profit, and you have made a total sale of so much. Whatever is left over, that you can calculate, or this you can back work and calculate what is the cost of goods sold and then remaining part will be your closing stock. So basically opening stock plus purchases minus closing stock will give you cost of goods sold. Using this formula you can derive at it. On 21st March, they purchased 250 chairs at 300 each. Selling price of the chair is 400. Owing to manufacturing defect, net realizable value of the whole lot was determined to be 70% of the selling price. No chairs were sold in the year. So this will be NRV or cost, whichever is lower. So we have to calculate that and do it. So straightforward one. Then this one again, very simple, a direct question from study material past papers, where there is a machinery purchased, you have received the grant and you have to calculate the amount. So as far as question number 1 compulsory question is concerned, I would expect anybody 5 into 4 marks, 20 marks, done well, at least 15 marks is easily doable here. Nothing was complicated as far as the compulsory question is concerned. Then here we have a loss of stock and loss of profit policy, both of them are there. So you have been given trading account and nothing unique adjustments, again a normal salary expenses and all of those things. Then fire occurred and sales were affected for 3 months. Nil salvage value. Information for 3 months is given below. So you are required to ascertain claim of stock and loss of profit. Easy, but given the marks, it was only for 12 marks. Slightly maybe lengthier, but again a scoring one. Okay, so here also there is nothing which is complicated. Standard question that we see. Trend is also directly given. Yes. So sales increase, gross profit decrease. So this can be slightly tricky adjustment if you have not seen the adjustment properly. But otherwise we could have done it better. Then hire purchase, again down payment, installment, straightforward numbers have been given. Interest at 10%. 8 scooters were purchased. Depreciation is so much. They failed to pay the third installment and 3 scooters were repossessed, right? So again standard question here. It is not very complicated to calculate. Nothing complicated here as well. Then investment accounting, pretty standard question based on cum interest and ex interest. We would have seen enough of these type of questions in your study material and past papers as well. Then on branch accounting, stock and debtors method, here also largely straightforward. I didn't find anything which requires more of a discussion or complexity out here, right? Just that credit sales at branch are 4 times the cash sales at branch. So with that you could split how much is the credit sales and how much is the cash sales. That splitting can be done. So this would help you to determine how much of cash has been collected, how much of debtors are there, and accordingly other things can be prepared using the stock and debtors method. One specific reason will not do a detailed solution is this time you might get distracted or get more worried. That's why having an overall view. And if you have any specific part to be addressed, I'll definitely want to do that. Then trial balance of a company is given. Equity share capital, preference shares, general reserve, 10% debentures, securities premium, land, plant and machinery, furniture, provision for depreciation, plant and machinery, furniture, receivables, payable, cash, bank overdrafts, 6% loan from State Finance Corporation, secured against plant, unclaimed dividend, loan from directors, adjusted purchases. Now whenever we say adjusted purchases, it means that it has been adjusted with the opening stock and closing stock. That is why closing stock is appearing in the trial balance. And I have told multiple times in the class, something which comes in the trial balance will appear only one time in the financial statement. So this will be directly your balance sheet item, and adjusted purchases after. So in the solution you have to show the purchases number separately. You will back calculate it. Similar problem is there in the study material. We could have done it. Carriage, miscellaneous expenses, selling, depreciation, director fees, traveling, P&L, office expenses, rent receipt. Foreign tour expenses, you have to do a separate disclosure. So that is where that information has been given. Authorized capital is there, equity shares issued for consideration other than cash. So for this a separate note is required. Professionally valued land and decides to include in the balance sheet at 8,50,000. Now land here is at 7 lakhs. You will have to change it to 8,50,000. So you'll apply the concept of accounting standard 10 and credit it to revaluation reserve. Capitalize part of undistributed profits by making bonus issue to shareholders by allocating 1 equity shares of 100 each for every 5 shares held. So 1:5. 1 for 5 bonus entry you have to pass. From retained earnings you will take it to share capital. So basically they have combined multiple different topics and given here. Trade receivables of 46,000 are due for more than 6 months. This was a amendment where we had to give a aging analysis, so that can be given as a note separately. Depreciation includes 1,10,000 on plant and 70 on furniture. So we'll add it to accumulated. We'll give that bifurcation. Cash at blank include this, which is not a scheduled bank, separate disclosure. Miscellaneous expense include 5,000 being audit fees paid to auditors. Audit fee have to be disclosed separately. Bills receivable maturing on 31st July has been discounted. So again, a separate disclosure, and because you have discounted that will be mentioned. Then 36,000 for interest accrued and not due. Directors declared final dividend of 8% on 6th April, transferring any amount that may be required from general reserve. Now here, please understand, we will not make any adjustment in the financial statements for this. In fact, a couple of students had asked the questions earlier also, sir, do we need to adjust it or not? This will not be adjusted. Earlier we used to adjust, but now we will not adjust. So this, sometimes students get confused. Oh, they have said transfer from general reserve, will not look at the date and will directly pass the entry. So that should not be done. Okay. Then interest on debenture for the year is outstanding. So for that you will make an accrual. You are requested to prepare balance sheet and statement of P&L and notes to account. Ignore taxation. All working should form part of your answer. Now a 20 marks question. With cool mind, with cool head, if you would have done, at least 14 to 16 marks should be in the pocket. Okay. Some adjustments if you do mistakes here and there. Even then, that was the kind of question which was asked, and I would put it as an easier version. Yes, sometimes you might get confused as to some of the disclosure requirements, but still then that marks is possible. Then moving on, single entry system. Right, you have standard assets and liabilities. Goods are sold to show gross profit on 20% on cost. So this time most of the gross profit has been given on cost. So if 100 is the cost, 120 is the sale. Accordingly, you will calculate. Depreciation is provided on 10% diminishing balance. Okay. Payment for purchase is always made by check. So when you prepare the creditors ledger, all the payments are through check only. Goods are sold for cash and credit. Both credit customers are paid by check only. So it should not be paid by credit customers. Pay us by check only. Okay. So you will sell it both cash and credit, and you will do it. It is practice of Gurmeet to send to the bank all collections of the month at the last date of each month after paying salaries 3,000 per month, office expenses 1,800, personal withdrawals 1,500. So all of these are on from your cash account. Okay. Analysis of passbook, cash deposited so much, receipts from credit customers. So this is the credit customers. So they'll help you to prepare the debtors account. Payment to creditors will go to creditors account. Everything is by check. Payment of insurance premium for 1 year ending 30th June. Now they have not mentioned insurance premium is for what. We'll assume that this is for business purpose. For 1 year ending on 30th of June. Okay, so it will end on 30th of June. So 3 months will be prepaid. Miscellaneous receipts, sale of old newspapers, other income. Balances have been given. So using that you can actually put it, or you can actually calculate the respective amounts. Claim against Mr. Gurmeet for damages of rupees 15,000 is under dispute. He anticipates defeat in the suit. So if he anticipates defeat in the suit, a provision for this has to be made. Physical verification, cash in cash box, shortage of 10,000. Cashier has absconded with the shortage amount. It is not possible to recover the cash. So in the cash account, when you prepare, on the credit side you will have by loss due to theft 10,000. So with that you can prepare the trading and P&L account. Right, 15 marks. Again, bonus question I would say. Then disclosure requirements. Probable loss of losing a suit in books of account, and also disclose the same fact in the financial statement. Probability of losing the suit is 25%. Now if the probability of losing the suit is 25%, it is not actually a liability to be recognized, because it is not probable, and hence you will not make the disclosure. You will just make the disclosure. Then capitalize all revenue expenses of repair and maintenance to plant and machinery, and is also disclosing the same as company policy. Wrong, we directly know it. Accrual basis of accounting since incorporation, disclose the fact in financial statement. So you have 3 fundamental accounting assumptions: going concern, consistency, and accrual. Right? If you are following this, you don't need to disclose it separately. Providing for after sales expenses at 2% of sales for covering expenses during the warranty period. Now A Limited observes that actual after sales expenses were much less as compared to the provision because of better technology. Now the board of A Limited decides to account for these expenses as and when they occur, sales during the period of 50 crores. Now this is not allowed because you have to follow the matching concept, you have to follow the accrual concept. You have to make, even though if it is less, you can reduce this percentage, but you cannot do it on cash basis. See, if you do this, expenses as and when they incur, then that will become your cash basis of accounting. So that should not be done. Right? Now, following is the P&L of Eric for year end 31st March. Gross profit, profit on sale of land, subsidy, then all other expenses, net profit. Administrative and selling expenses include cost of construction of new office building amounting to 8,000. This should not happen. Depreciation as per Companies Act for 395. You are required to marginal limit of managerial remuneration as per Companies Act. Again, so you have to calculate by making those adjustments and using the limits. Straightforward question. Generally, they don't test, but this time they have tested. Then either or. Increase the share capital by making rights issue to its existing shareholders. Companies offering 2 for every 5 existing share held. Market value of shares is 420 per share. Companies offering each share at 245. Calculate the value of right and ex-right market price. Straightforward. Based on the formula you can calculate. And list down the applicable criteria under company's rule to satisfy a company as a small and medium company. Again, a theory question. Most of the students would have chosen the first one. Then the question number C, this is based on pre-incorporation, post-incorporation. Gross profit is given, rent, rates and taxes are given, general expenses carries outward. So this has to be based on sales. Share issue expenses, this will be only post-incorporation. Monthly sales were evenly spread and after that increased by 2/3 during the rest of the year. So from 1st April to 30th September, if it is X, then it becomes X by 2/3 X. General expenses include 196 towards sales promotion. This will be done on the basis of sales ratio. Investments were sold on 15 June at a profit of 63,000 was inadvertently included in gross profit. So this 63,000 you have to remove from the gross profit and do it. Okay. Right. So 10 marks there. Again, pretty average question, I would say. If you applied your mind and were calm enough in the examination, it would have been good. Even those of you who could not complete, see, I would expect again on an average, if you have completed 85 to 90 marks of the question or even 80 to 90 marks of the question, it would be more than enough for you to secure the passing marks. Right. Some straightforward questions, some lengthy questions, of course time consuming. Right. So that was the overall review. We'll discuss the solution post all of your examinations get over so that you don't get distracted. Right. All the best for your next paper. Stay focused and be prepared or be well prepared for the next examination. Even if for whatever reasons, if this paper was not as expected, right? Sometimes it happens. It doesn't go as expected or it becomes difficult for the students sometimes. Even if that happens, I would suggest that whatever has happened and now it is the time to focus on the next papers which are coming up and give your best in the next papers. But yes, on an overall basis, I would say average, especially after seeing what happened in financial reporting yesterday. This is a paper which I think Institute has been really generous for CA interest students. I hope all the papers come easy and attemptable, and if at all, even if there is some kind of difficulty, don't be scared or don't panic in the examination. Any paper you take, in yesterday's session also I was mentioning 40 to 50 marks, and this I have been telling for a long period of time. 40 to 50 marks of paper is generally attemptable. So focus on the paper which is attemptable. Try to do the paper which you can attempt well, and if there are tricky questions or if there are lengthy questions or if there are questions that you don't know, keep it for the end and attempt it at the end, right? So all the best for the upcoming next examination and prepare well. If you have any doubts related to subjects and all, please feel free to use our forums and we will be more than happy to address them right before your examination. For your upcoming paper of law, we have a full revision videos which is available on YouTube. If you want to make use of it, you can do that, but I would suggest you to do self-study rather than going out and doing some kind of marathon or something at this point of time. This is the time where you have to do self-study, practice and revise your own concepts, revise your own short notes rather than looking for some I'll do some 10 hours of lectures and I'll pass the exams. So what tends to happen is you will listen, you will understand, but because you have not been writing or you have not been focusing on things which you are not comfortable with, it sometimes becomes difficult. Okay, for specific topics you can approach, but don't think that entire next 1.5 day I'll just be listening to revision lectures and preparing for the examination. Your focus should be more towards revising your own notes, addressing those areas where you had difficulties. You would have made some notes on your own that okay, these are the places where I find it difficult and I have to practice more. Please do that rather than spending this time in watching lectures and then suddenly you realize that you're not able to write properly in the examination. All the best for your exams, and we'll come up with quick reviews of papers so that you have some kind of comfort that yes, whatever you have done is proper and will do good in the examination. Thanks a lot for joining in and have a nice day.